Five Towers is a game about, well, building towers. And side note, if you look carefully at these towers, you'll note more intellectual property infringement than any other 10 games put together.
Oh, at least. Every one of these cards has got some sort of, again, intellectual property thing you'll recognize. Yeah. There's a lot of it there, and it's a big part of playing this game, actually.
Well, mostly, though, the game is abstract. Here's how it plays.
Five Towers is made up of a deck of, well, 5 different tower types. You can tell by the color, and this one apparently is made out of cake, with numbers that go on them from 15 to 0. And you'll have some extra cards depending on the number of players. You'll know if you're going to have cards in the game or not based on the icon at the top. Each round of the game, 5 cards are going to be flipped over in the middle of the table. And then starting with whoever is first player, that person's going to make a bid. So if I was looking at this, I might say 2. The next person has to go higher than me or pass. Each person has 1 chance to bid, unless someone bids 5, in which case they automatically win. Let's say I win with a 2 here. That means I have to take 2 cards. So I would take these 2. The other 3 are going to be discarded. We're going to go through the deck twice, so you might see them again. And I'll put them in front of me. But here's the catch. If I take a 15 later on, I can't put it on top of the 12. It's not worth it for me. The 12 can go on top of the 15, like that. So you're trying to get higher numbers first. Whenever you win a bid, you can destroy a card on top of one of your castles, but that'd be worth negative points at the end of the game. There are a few special cards. A 9 can go on top of lower numbers. An 8 can have higher numbers placed on top of it, and you can tell that by the design of the tower. And a 0, well, not only does it cap it, and you can no longer mess with that tower, but it will double the points of that tower at the end of the game. The game one after deck goes through twice, and you get, this would be 2 points, this would be 1, 2, 3 times 2, 6 points, and this would be 4 points. That's a pretty pathetic score, but at least it's some points. Whoever has the highest points is the winner.
Interestingly enough, I played this with different groups of people.
Yeah.
It's very divisive.
Yeah.
It's such a weird bidding system because you can almost do the bidding system in your head. I can sit there and go, okay, I want 2, but I know Z's going to bid 4, and no one else is going to want 4.
There's no reason not to take them.
So I can kind of, and yet, I don't know, I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy it, but I think it is sort of flawed by it can just work against some players. I've seen players have terrible games of this.
Yeah.
Or great games, and it just worked out in that regard. And it was my turn to go first, and the perfect 5 cards are laid out for me. And I'm like, 5, I got them. Or even losing 1 to take a -1 point. And the negative points go up in value, but you can take 1 or 2 cards.
Yeah.
But to get a whole bunch,
it
just, I don't know. I like how it looks. I think it's super unique in how it plays. It feels like it's part of a bigger game. That bidding almost. I would love to see that bidding used in a bigger game around it.
I think that's my issue with it, is that it does feel like a small game. It feels like part of something bigger. I think the bidding in this, and I don't hate the game, I just think the bidding in it is really flat. And it's kind of like the main part of the game. But like you're saying, it's sort of, okay, well, I'm okay with, there's no wiggle room. I look at the 5 cards on the table and I go, I'm okay with taking 1 and 2, and I'm okay with taking 3. I am not okay with taking 4 or 5. 3. There's no wiggle room.
I agree.
The next person then goes, oh, I also could have taken 3. Maybe not the same 3 as you, but 3, so pass. And it becomes a little rote that way. It's collecting stuff, and a couple of little powers are interesting on the cards. The game sometimes is, you feel like you're kind of done before the game is done. You're like, well, I'm done. I can't really take too much else. I thought it was weird also that it's the deep print games line, which I thought was for thinkier games is what that line was reserved for. This one didn't come across that way to me. For me, I'm giving this one a 6. I don't think it's a bad game, and I enjoy it casually, but I can definitely see it upsetting some people because it has that sort of, I'm just stuck in a bind, I can't break out feeling. I keep getting hosed in my seating position. You're always before me. You always bid what I want. But if it's a casual group, everybody's sort of just easing into a little card game, then yeah, there's a couple of clever ideas here. And like I said, the card powers, the multiplier at the top and capping that off, that's clever. So for me, it gets a 6.
I like it more than that. I'm giving it a 7. I realize and I see those things, and it's just fun for me anyway.
Yeah.
The building the towers, I enjoy that. The 8 and 9 things are interesting, although they're oddly numbered.
Yeah.
I would have I would have made them the 7 and 10, frankly. Mm-hmm. Then it would have been more of a 7 can have any number go on top of it or underneath. I would have just switched them out. But I don't know. Every time I do it, it's fun, it's interesting, and it feels different. Not enough that I'm going to want to play it with everybody. And again, there's some people here who really dislike it. But I enjoyed it enough. So that's 5 towers.